Hey guys, it's Rob here and welcome back to another video. So in this video we are going to talk about some pretty exciting Nintendo Switch news as well as some Nintendo Switch 2 news when it comes to the size of the Nintendo Switch games, because I think some of these games are kind of surprising, especially when compared to the PS5 too, and also a pretty big game that could be coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 as well. There will be timestamps in the comment section below if you guys want to skip around, and also of course on the video itself. And if you end up enjoying this video, leave a like and subscribe of course if you do want more Nintendo Switch news, leaks, and rumors, as well as reviews. So first up, something pretty surprising when it comes to the amount of gigabytes needed for the Nintendo Switch 2 when it comes to games that are launching with the Nintendo Switch 2, games like Mario Kart World, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, but more specifically Hogwarts Legacy. So you guys are seeing the graphic on your screen right now, and the one that I want to specifically mention and you to look at is Hogwarts Legacy. Even if you're not interested in Hogwarts Legacy, it's 14.8 gigabytes on the Nintendo Switch 2, and you know how much it's on the PS5? Which I actually have it on the PS5, funny enough. I don't have it downloaded right now, but according to PSN, it's 111 gigabytes compared to the Nintendo Switch 2's 14.8, I think it was. Yeah, 14.8. So this is pretty interesting because I'm wondering if games like this, like the next game we're going to be talking about is a Ubisoft game that was recently rated, and that was Assassin's Creed Shadows. I also own that game too, and that game weighs in at a whopping 103.3 gigabytes according to my PS5. So when Assassin's Creed Shadows eventually comes to the Nintendo Switch, if it does anyways, is it going to be something like 13.8 gigabytes or something? It's pretty interesting to see how some games are scaled compared to others, because Cyberpunk 2077, if I recall, is on the 64 gigabyte card, and everything from the expansion to the base game is on the card, so it's 64 gigabytes, and if you compare that to the PS5, it's going to be a lot more. According to the PSN, it's 165.5 gigabytes. So it's pretty impressive to see these type of things. With that being said, let's move on to the next topic. So there is going to be a game hitting the Nintendo Switch 2, or I should at least say might be hitting the Nintendo Switch 2. So over on Nintendo Life, they have an article that says this: Assassin's Creed Shadows Switch 2 rating spotted online. This is what they had to say. Ubisoft was already rumored to be bringing multiple titles to the Nintendo Switch 2, so what else might be beyond Star Wars Outlaws? According to a new listing on Peggy's website, Assassin's Creed Shadows is on the way to Nintendo's hybrid successor. You can see this on the homepage of the site, but when you click through the ratings, there's no mention of the Nintendo version, at least not yet. Now the interesting thing about this is that a lot of different companies are supporting the Nintendo Switch 2, and they've expressed their interest in the platform as well. Which does bring me to the next part of the video on the next news topic. Xbox boss Phil Spencer reiterates support for the Switch 2, saying Nintendo has been a great partner. So this is something that we've known for quite a while now. We know the relationship between Xbox and Nintendo is really fantastic right now, which is why I'm pretty excited that I think it was Toys for Bob wanted to make a new Banjo-Kazooie, and it just makes me wonder if they're already making it and they're just saying it just to put it out there, you know what I mean? I've seen companies do that before where they say, hey, we want to make such and such game, and then maybe like a year later it's announced and it's like, oh, I see what you were doing back then. Unfortunately, the Legend of Dragoon's game, when they said that hasn't happened yet. But anyways, this was Phil Spencer's direct quote. Nintendo has been a great partner. We think that is a unique way for us to reach players who aren't PC players, who aren't players on Xbox. It lets us continue to grow our community of people that care about the franchises that we have, and that's really important for us to make sure we continue to invest in our game. Now, the one thing I'm wondering is that a lot of the Nintendo Switch games that are coming from Xbox, are we going to see more of that? Because Xbox still has a lot of big games coming to the Nintendo Switch, to the Xbox, so I wonder if they're going to bring them to the Nintendo Switch. Games like Fable, games like Perfect Dark, those kind of bigger Xbox games, like the next Halo game that comes out, is that also going to come to the Nintendo Switch later on? I mean, heck, could Game Pass come to the Nintendo Switch? That would be pretty insane as well. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens when it comes to just Xbox and Nintendo, but it's really exciting, especially when the games are really good. I mean, let's say Xbox decides to do a fantastic thing and make a new Conker's Bad Fur Day. I'm sure that will also come to the Nintendo Switch 2 as well. It's very clear that Nintendo is okay with those kind of games. We have Cyberpunk on the Nintendo Switch. Assassin's Creed Shadows was just rated. Now, not to mention the stuff on the eShop. And then of course they have the 18 plus Nintendo Switch Online Service app as well. I'm pretty sure it's 18 plus for games like GoldenEye and all that, I think. With that being said, we do have some news for Star Wars Outlaws on the Nintendo Switch 2. So if you guys didn't know this, back at the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, we only got a release window, and that was in 2025. Now we do have an official release date for Star Wars Outlaws, and that's going to be September 4th, 2025. I myself have never played this, so I think I'm going to wait for the Nintendo Switch 2 version and then review that version, because I think that's more in line with what I do on this channel anyways. But it does look pretty fun to me. I know there were a lot of complaints about the game, but I don't know, sometimes when a lot of people don't like games, I end up liking it and I like enjoying it, so I guess we'll see. With that being said, here is our last topic of the day, and it's a pretty exciting one. So if you guys were wondering, where is the mainline Mario game? What is going on with Nintendo? What are they going to do after all of this? Like after the Nintendo Switch 2 is out? Because I think that's one thing that a lot of us do wonder is, okay, what's next, right? After we've all got the Nintendo Switch 2, or at the very least it's out, what is Nintendo's plan here? Well, we might know at least part of their plan. Over on My Nintendo News, they have an article that reads, Nintendo tells fans to stay tuned for a new main Mario game on Switch 2. And I think we've already figured that out. I mean, every single new console, they do a new Mario game, but it's good to just hear it. This is what My Nintendo News has to say. The Nintendo Switch 2's launch lineup currently features a new Kirby Air Ride. I completely forgot about the game now that I think about it. A new Donkey Kong game, a new Mario Kart, and more. However, one thing that was absent that a lot of fans expected Nintendo to reveal at the Switch 2 Direct was a new 3D Mario game, so it's not surprising that the topic would eventually be brought up to Nintendo. Now I do have some thoughts on that specifically, like why they didn't reveal that at the Switch 2 Direct, but we'll get to that after the article. Sure enough, CNN asked Nintendo of America President Doug Bowser about this very thing. When asked why there isn't a new main Mario game on the Switch 2, Bowser simply said, stay tuned. You know we have a long catalog and a long list of intellectual properties, and I'm sure this will make its way to the platform. The response isn't all that surprising, but it may offer some hope for those who were hoping to get a successor to Super Mario Odyssey on the Switch 2 very soon. So this is something that I think, again, like the article says, and like I said before, I don't think anyone's too surprised that, oh, a Mario game exists, right? But I think the bigger question here is, when will this Mario game be revealed? Well, there are a couple places that it could be revealed, especially when it comes to just Nintendo Directs in general. Right now, Nintendo is focusing on the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2, something that's extremely important when it comes to just the next, I would say, 5 years on the Nintendo Switch, maybe even longer depending on how they want to do this. But I think that's what they want to focus on now, and then after June 5th, then they'll start moving on to their next plan, which I think could be two things. It could be a June Nintendo Direct. Right after the Nintendo Switch 2 launch, they do a June Nintendo Direct to set up holiday season, or no, not holiday season, leading up to holiday season, so the next like 4 to 6 months. And then we have the September Nintendo Direct. Nintendo usually does a June Nintendo Direct and a September Nintendo Direct, so those are two options. And of course the next one is the September Nintendo Direct and skipping the June Nintendo Direct. Because we have other games that are already going to be coming out now until September, Nintendo may very well either do like a partner direct or just not do any direct and just have the games that are already releasing, and of course the third-party games and the indie games that are going to be releasing on the Nintendo Switch 2 up until September. So I think that's when we'll actually see that. I also think we're probably going to get like a Metroid Prime 4 Nintendo Direct as well. I would be really shocked if we didn't, like showcasing a bunch of cool stuff from the game. Hopefully not like the Mario Kart Direct, according to people anyways. I didn't even bother watching it because apparently people said that it was just stuff we already knew. I'll probably give it a watch today though. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about today's topics, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.